What would you do if you knew without a single doubt that your crush liked you back? Pause for a moment and really think about it. Chances are you'd stop rehearsing conversations in your head, stop overthinking every message, and finally gather the courage to ask them out, right? Human beings crave certainty, especially when it comes to love. You want to know if someone is attracted to you so you can avoid rejection, protect your heart, and maybe create an incredible relationship with someone you genuinely care about. But here's the problem. For one reason or another, most people have no idea how to tell if someone silently, secretly, desperately likes them. And the worst part, most of us only realize it when it's already too late. That's why understanding psychology, real practical psychology, can completely transform your dating life. When you learn to read the signs of attraction, subtle signals hidden in body language, tone, micro expressions, and social behavior, you begin to see the truth in people's actions. So, without further delay, let's dive deep into 4 signs people are secretly attracted to you. Not the obvious ones, not the cliche ones, but the psychological ones people can't hide, even if they try. 1. Pay sign 1. They get shy and overly careful around you. Attention to what they do. Think back to a time when you were hanging out with your crush. Your palms were probably a bit sweaty, your thoughts were racing. Every tiny detail, your posture, your smile, the exact words you chose suddenly mattered. You were analyzing yourself in real time, worried about making a bad impression. This is normal. When you find someone attractive, your brain switches into hyper-awareness mode. You become conscious of everything you do and say. But here's the twist. While you're busy scrutinizing yourself, you rarely notice when someone else is doing the exact same thing with you. Why? Because we are wired to be self-conscious, not other-conscious. Most people completely miss the signs when someone is acting nervous, shy, or overly careful around them. Our minds simply don't pay attention to all those micro signals unless we deliberately train ourselves to notice them. Let me share something personal. There was a girl I used to hang out with almost every day. We were best friends, inseparable. But as we spent more and more time together, I started noticing subtle changes. She became increasingly nervous around me. When she spoke, her voice softened. She played with her hair without realizing it. Her eyes darted away, then back at me, then away again. I asked her if everything was okay. She smiled, shrugged, and said everything was fine. She just enjoyed being with me. I believed her. I was completely oblivious to the fact that she had feelings for me. It wasn't until months later after I moved overseas that she told me she had a massive crush on me the entire time. She just couldn't find the courage to say anything. And you know what hurt? I liked her too, but neither of us recognized the sign sitting right in front of us. That experience changed me. I began paying attention, real attention to body language, speech patterns, tone shifts, and the emotional energy between two people. Once I learned to recognize these things, my dating life improved dramatically. So, if you want to know whether someone is attracted to you, observe the details. Do they get shy around you? Do they change the way they talk? Are they more careful with their words? Do they fidget, play with their hair, touch their neck, or bite their lip? Do they seem nervous, but in a soft, sweet, excited way? If yes, that's not an accident. It's a psychological sign of attraction they can't control. 2, they get nervous around you. Let me ask you something powerful. At what moment do you truly realize you might be falling in love with someone? It's not always the butterflies. It's not always the moments of passion. It's not even the fantasies about a future together. It's the moment you realize how nervous that person makes you feel. Nervousness is one of the brain's clearest signals that someone matters to us. When you feel that sudden drop in your stomach, that rush of adrenaline, that awkward tension where you don't know what to do with your hands, that's your mind whispering. This person is important. Don't screw this up. And yes, it's uncomfortable, but it's also one of the most honest emotions we experience. Nervousness is the mind's way of telling you someone means a lot to you. You see, human beings are strange creatures. We Personal story. Missing the signs with a best friend, walk through life trying to appear confident, calm, collected, like nothing shakes us. But the moment we encounter someone who hits us in the heart, everything changes. Suddenly, we trip over our words, our thoughts become scrambled, we overthink every move, we rehearse conversations in our heads that never go the way we expect. It's like falling in love temporarily disables our ability to function normally. And here's the deeper psychological truth. Human beings grow up developing a strong understanding of danger, pain, loss, disappointment, heartbreak. Our minds become experts at protecting us from emotional harm. But when you meet someone who genuinely matters, someone whose opinion of you suddenly matters more than anyone else's, your emotional defenses crumble. That's why nervousness is such a powerful sign. It's your brain calculating the risk of losing someone before you've even had them. We are usually egocentric creatures. We think about ourselves, our goals, our comfort. That is until we fall in love. Because when love enters the picture, even in its earliest stages, something dramatic happens. We start to worry for another person the same way we worry about ourselves. Their feelings matter. Their reactions matter. Their happiness matters. And the fear of losing them before they're even ours becomes real. So when someone gets nervous around you, don't ignore it. Notice the small things. Do they fidget? Do they avoid eye contact but steal small glances when they think you're not looking? Do they talk fast or stumble over their words? Do they seem excited and scared at the same time? Does their body soften around you like they're trying not to fall too hard too fast? If any of that sounds familiar, here's the truth. You don't make them nervous because they dislike you. You make them nervous because they care, because you matter, because their brain is trying to protect their heart from you. This is one of the clearest, most primal, most difficult to hide signs of attraction. And if you've ever experienced it yourself, you know exactly how powerful it is. But the human mind is even stranger because nervousness doesn't always show up as softness. Sometimes it transforms into something else entirely, something darker, something confusing, something easy to misinterpret if you don't understand psychology. That brings us to the next sign, one of the most misunderstood behaviors in romantic attraction. The sign where someone acts the exact opposite of how they feel. Now, here's where things get complicated. Attraction doesn't always show up as kindness. It doesn't always come wrapped in shy smiles or sweet nervousness. Sometimes attraction hides behind something completely unexpected. Rudeness, coldness, irritation, a strange emotional tension that feels almost hostile. And this confuses people more than anything else because we assume if they like me, shouldn't they be nice? Not always. Here's the psychological truth and the part most people never learn. There are two possible reasons someone acts rude when they're secretly attracted to you. Reason one, they don't truly understand what love is. Some people have never learned how to process feelings, especially romantic ones. They weren't sign two. Nervousness. The brain's signal that you matter taught healthy emotional expression. They weren't raised in environments where affection felt safe. So when they develop feelings, they don't soften. They harden. The person being rude often doesn't understand what love actually is. They may try to appear dominant, in control, or emotionally untouchable. Their rudeness becomes a shield, a layer of armor protecting a fragile heart. This type of rudeness is toxic. It's a collection of negativity, insecurity, and unresolved self-esteem issues. It resembles psychotic behavior, not in a clinical sense, but in the way their emotions become unpredictable and extreme. One moment they want your attention, the next they push you away. Then they punish you emotionally for getting too close. It's not love, it's fear. Wearing the mask of authority, this person wants control. They want power. They want certainty without ever becoming vulnerable themselves. And because of that, their attraction becomes twisted. Reason two, they have feelings but can't express them. Now here's the softer, more human side of the story. Sometimes a person acts rude not because they're cruel, but because they're overwhelmed. The emotions they feel towards you are powerful, too powerful, and they don't know what to do with them. So instead of expressing affection, they express irritation. Instead of confessing interest, they distance themselves. Their mind becomes a battlefield. The desire to get closer versus the fear of being exposed. This creates confusion, not just in them, but in you. So their emotions come out in abrupt, sharp ways. Short answers, sarcastic comments, cold stars, random mood swings, awkward tension when you enter the room. It looks like rudeness, but in reality, it's fear disguised as indifference. This kind of rudeness is not intentional. It's emotional clumsiness, feelings too big for someone who never learned how to hold them gently. And if you've ever experienced this from someone you liked, you know how confusing it is. Your mind keeps asking, did I do something wrong? Why did their mood change so fast? Why do they act cold only around me? But the truth is simple. You matter to them more than they know how to handle. You are not the problem. Their emotional vocabulary is. But here's the twist. Rudeness isn't the only unexpected behavior people show when they're secretly attracted to you. Sometimes the opposite happens. A behavior so sweet, so gentle, so overly warm that you almost question whether it's genuine. Because some people express attraction not through coldness, but through excessive kindness. And this next sign is one most people overlook. Now, let's talk about a sign that confuses people just as much as rudeness does, when someone is overly nice to you. Because here's the truth. Kindness is easy to fake. Warmth can be a mask, and people often hide their deepest desires behind their sweetest smiles. But when someone is secretly attracted to you, their kindness hits differently. Over niceness, the sweetest camouflage. Ask an attractive girl how many people are overly nice to her. She'll probably roll her eyes and say, a lot. Kindness is one of the most common behaviors people use when they're drawn to you, but it's not the kindness itself that reveals the truth. It's the intensity of it. Some people don't know how to express interest, so they go a line. They compliment everything. They laugh too hard at your jokes. They help you even before you ask. They try to make your day better in small ways. They go out of their way to be useful, helpful, or supportive. But beneath the politeness, something else is happening psychologically. They are signaling, I want to be close to you. I want to be someone you value. I want to earn a place in your world. This isn't casual friendliness. It's attraction. Trying not to scare you away. The two types of reactions you trigger. When it comes to how people respond to an attractive personality, meaning you, there are only two reactions. One, they like you too, they hate you. But here's the twist. Both reactions come from attraction. The people who like you feel drawn to you. The people who hate you feel threatened by you. Either way, you are not emotionally neutral to them. Your presence affects them. And that's the key. Because if someone is overly warm, overly kind, overly helpful, it's not random. It means you stir something. Sign 3, unexpected rudeness or coldness, the hidden reasons inside them that they can't ignore. Why self-confident people are nice to you. Here's another layer people often miss. A self-confident person, someone who sees themselves as attractive, successful, or interesting, will almost always show politeness and friendliness towards someone they see as equal. Why? Because confident people aren't threatened by attraction. They don't lose themselves around someone they like. They appreciate qualities in others that they recognize in themselves. So if someone you consider a good guy treats you politely, if someone you respect becomes warm, gentle, or attentive, it means they see you as an equal. They value you. They see something in you that mirrors their own strength. And that is its own form of attraction. But there's a darker side. All nice people, no matter how friendly, will occasionally encounter other people's negative emotions. And more often than not, these emotions are completely unreasonable. Sometimes people act cold toward you, not because you did anything wrong, but because they are jealous, insecure, intimidated, envious, overwhelmed by your presence. These individuals lack self-confidence. They don't feel attractive or successful, so they lash out. Their rudeness, hostility, or passive-aggressive behavior comes from a place of, I wish I were more like you. So the main thing is this: never take unreasonable negativity personally. It has nothing to do with your value and everything to do with their damaged self-esteem. Remember, some people are overly sweet because they want you. Some people are overly bitter because they can't have you. Either way, you make them feel something. And that's the heart of attraction, because now you've learned about nervousness, rudeness, and over niceness. But there is still one final layer: the hidden psychological signals that tie all of these behaviors together. The next part reveals the deeper truth about human attraction and why so many people fail to see it until it's too late. You've now learned the signs, the nervousness, the rudeness, the over-niceness, the subtle changes in behavior and speech. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Attraction is rarely obvious because human beings are terrified of vulnerability. Every sign we talked about has one thing in common: people hide their feelings because they fear losing what they never had. Read that again. People will hide their feelings because confessing them feels like risking their heart on a knife's edge. And this fear makes attraction messy, complicated, contradictory, beautiful, and devastating. Let's break that down: the silent war inside the human mind. Whenever someone catches feelings, their brain launches a psychological battle between two forces. Sign 4, overniceness and excessive kindness. 1, desire, the pull toward you, the longing, the emotional magnetism, the fantasy of closeness, connection, warmth. 2, fear, fear of rejection, fear of humiliation, fear of not being good enough, fear of losing control. These two forces collide, twist, and fight beneath the surface. And that is why attraction shows up as mixed signals. Nervousness isn't hesitation. It's emotional overload. Rudeness isn't cruelty. It's fear of being seen too clearly. Over niceness isn't friendliness. It's a disguised attempt to win your affection without risking heartbreak. All of it, every bit of it, is evidence that you matter more than you think. And here's the darker truth: most people will never admit their feelings, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. The psychology of invisible love. There is a name for this phenomenon: limerence. It's the psychological state where someone becomes intensely attracted to another person, yet expresses it in confusing, contradictory, often self-sabotaging ways. That's why the signs of attraction are often quiet, hidden, buried under layers of emotion the person can barely understand, let alone express. Humans don't say what they feel. They show it in body language, in tone, in eye contact, in inconsistencies, in nervous laughter, in silent glances across the room, in the way they suddenly become stiff, awkward, or overly polite. Attraction isn't loud, it's whispered, and most people don't hear it until it's too late. Your challenge: learn to see what others miss. Understanding these signs gives you a psychological superpower, because once you learn to read people truly, the deeper truth, fear of vulnerability and mixed signals, read them. You stop guessing. You stop doubting yourself. You start understanding. Who likes you? Who fears losing you? Who respects you? Who envies you? Who wants to get closer? Who is pushing you away only because they're scared? This knowledge protects you from heartbreak. It helps you make better decisions. It helps you build stronger relationships. And it helps you see what most people stay blind to: the truth hidden behind human behavior. And that is what dark psychology is all about. So the next time someone stumbles over their words, can't stop playing with their hair, acts strangely cold, or becomes overly sweet and generous, don't dismiss it. Don't ignore it. Don't assume it's random. Somewhere beneath all that behavior is a heart beating faster because of you, a mind wondering about you, hands trembling because of you, thoughts circling back to you, feelings they don't know how to confess. The signs are always there if you know how to